Al Jazeera Mobile.
Now let's get some sport. Look who's here. Sana.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Well, as you mentioned earlier, 2 Pakistan cricketers banned for match fixing have been found guilty of corruption by an English court. Former captain Salman Butt was found guilty of conspiracy to accept corrupt payments and conspiracy to cheat. Mohammad Asif was found guilty of conspiracy to cheat, but no verdict has yet reached on the other, more serious charge of accepting corrupt payments. The conspiracy took place during the 4th Test match between Pakistan and England at Lord's Cricket Ground last year. Both players could now face a jail sentence in the UK. Sentencing will be later this week. And to have more on that, let's cross to our correspondent Lee Wellings, who's outside the court in London. Lee, what's the latest?
Well, a flurry of activity here just moments ago, because Mohammad Asif, who has been found guilty of one of the 2 charges, is still, of course, waiting on the 2nd charge. He's waiting for the jury to reach that majority verdict. And the charge he's been found guilty of is the lesser of the 2, so it's extremely important in terms of a potential jail sentence which decision they come to. He left the court for about 20 minutes. He's just returned and he faces a really anxious wait this afternoon. For Salman Butt, this has been an extraordinary day. The former captain found guilty on 2 charges of conspiracy to accept corrupt payments and conspiracy to cheat. This on the day we're told his wife has given birth to their 2nd child back in Pakistan. He must wait here for the remainder of the week, of course, at the very least, where there'll be sentencing, and then we'll see his fate. These charges carry with them, under English law, a maximum 7-year jail sentence, and we wait to see what the judge will decide in terms of whether that's the right course of action.
The case has been revolved around the term spot fixing. Could you explain a little bit to our audience the difference between that and match fixing?
Yeah, let me take you back to when this happened. This was the Lord's Test match in August last year between Pakistan and England, and it revolved around spot fixing. Now, this is taking parts of a cricket match for corrupt means involving bookmakers on the subcontinent, and an agent, Mazhar Majid, was part of a sting from the News of the World newspaper, now defunct News of the World newspaper, where he suggested there would be 3 no balls in this test match, and those 3 balls happened exactly as promised, bowled by 2 Pakistan bowlers. Now that is spot fixing, and this is something which has crept into the game because there is the ability to do this in less of a recognised way. It's not match fixing, which of course is a far bigger and more difficult thing to accomplish, but you have to say the tone of this trial has been about potential other cricket matches that have been affected by not just spot fixing, but potentially match fixing too. So this is all part of a large-scale corruption and a sport which is going through an extremely difficult time.
Well, you've said it yourself that Pakistan cricket has faced a lot of problems in the past. What does this mean for its reputation now?
It would take a very long time to restore the reputation of Pakistan cricket, particularly after what we've heard during this case. 6 players were actually mentioned by the prosecution as being people who worked with this agent, and the suspicion hanging over them, except that the current Pakistan team doesn't involve any of those players. So what we've got with the current Pakistan team out in the United Arab Emirates playing at the moment are people who are new blood, people who haven't got a record of corruption, but it's that suspicion that will surround them, and it's that suspicion that will surround cricket matches that makes it so difficult for the sport at the moment, and something which has been a very prominent part of this trial. It's not just about the cricketers involved here.
Lee Wellings, thank you very much for that. We'll catch up with you later on. Moving on to the rest of the sport, it's known as the race that stops a nation. Even politicians in Australia's parliament took time out to watch Monday's Melbourne Cup, which saw one of the closest finishes in the 151-year history of the race. The 2-mile event started with a field of 23 horses, and it was so close right to the end. DUNADEN, owned by Qatari royal Sheikh Fahad Al Thani, was head-to-head with Red Cadeau. In fact, it was nose-to-nose at the line and too close to call without a photo finish.